Good morning. Welcome to the Weather Desk. So much to get into. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. We do the Weather Desk each and every day. We focus on today's top weather headlines, and that includes some severe weather going on right now in the central U.S. Let's run through our other headlines, some topics we'll be covering today. The future flooding concerns for California. They've come through a king tide. They've had numerous rounds of tremendous rain with the atmospheric rivers that have kind of been at different times coming back over the northern parts of California. It has created extensive flooding, and while they're getting a little break right now, there is concern that they're going to see more flooding, and in the future with climate change, it could be even worse. So we'll have a report on that. Frustration for many folks in LA. There were protests yesterday as we are 1 year after the LA wildfires, and some folks just aren't seeing much progress with recovery. We'll have an update on that situation as well. Those wildfires, a big talker. We spent so much time 1 year ago covering that and the extensive damage to Southern California with those wildfires. All right, we're going to talk lightning capitals for the U.S. and for the world. A couple days ago, we talked about Florida being unseated as the lightning capital for the U.S. We'll have a report on that from Taylor Stephenson, but I also took a closer look at the most lightning-prone area in the entire country, the area that sees lightning almost all the time. We're going to talk about it. It's pretty amazing. And NASA, while we're taking a look at space, we do some occasional space stories. There was a postponement of a scheduled spacewalk. We'll explain why and what their plans are moving forward. A lot to get into. Snow in France, and unfortunately some fatalities there as well associated with the wintry weather. That was a problem. And we're also taking a look at Chinese ice sculpting, a big winter fest in a part of China, Harbin, China. We'll take you out there and show you what they're doing in the snow. And then we've got the look at the severe weather threats going forward. But right now, I want to start off with a look at the severe weather back across Oklahoma. And we're going to take a look at that as we zoom into the central portion of Oklahoma here. You can see there are 3 different areas that are under warning right now. And this is, again, not far from Oklahoma City. What I'll let you know just coming out of the gates here, there was previously a confirmed tornado. Now, this is not the information on these warnings, but rather what was out there, and that expired just before we started the weather desk. But even though very, very sparsely populated area south of Oklahoma City and southeast of Oklahoma City, there was a confirmed tornado. So these are more likely associated with radar-indicated rotations, and we'll take a closer look at that. This tornado warning here for Bethel Acres, Johnson, Shawnee, and Tecumseh. I'll get it out. Tough, smaller town there in Oklahoma. About 40,000 people impacted by that one. Again, some radars. Let's take this full for a second because I want to just get a quick update. I'm going to go back over to the weather pod and just see if we have any updates coming in on these tornado warnings as we take a look. And what I want to do, I'm going to clear these off. And we'll just quickly pop up the new warnings and see what's going on here. This larger warning just put out there. And what we have right now with that tornado warning, let me get the information up. That one about 3,300. So again, this is not a very highly populated area, but this is something that we are watching definitely, and we need to. Again, the concern here being with these tornadoes, potential. This is, let's see again, this is radar confirmed tornado at this point. There was a circulation, but again, a radar confirmed tornado for that one. And then the one impacting Shawnee right there, the hazard of tornado. Let's see if that was actually a confirmed tornado there. Nope, they're still saying this is radar, potential radar indicated circulation as well. So bottom line is there have been some tornadoes down here across portions of central Oklahoma. So that's what we're continuing to monitor here. Let me loop this for you. And I had just pulled in some of the live radar sweeps. That's why this is kind of jerking around a little bit as you take a look at it. As we load up the cache, we'll be able to see more of the radar images with the circulations, but I started pulling in some of the wind data on that, so we'll be able to take a closer look as we go along here this morning. You can see that line extends north all the way up through the northern portions of Oklahoma, approaching Tulsa, that line is. And there are numerous severe thunderstorm warnings in addition to the tornado warnings. So we'll continue to monitor that for you, as that is a big concern, obviously, for the folks there in Oklahoma. And we'll continue to let you know if we get more information in on those particular warnings. All right, we are going to talk about what's been going on in California here with the Weather Desk. And you can see, again, they are catching a break from San Francisco down through L.A., a break from the rain. There are some light areas of precipitation back across the central portions of California, back towards the mountains. But it has been an ongoing issue here as folks around the San Francisco Bay Area, San Jose, up to Vallejo, these different areas, they've been recovering after back-to-back atmospheric rivers and a king tide caused torrential rain and flooding over several weeks. Now, the Bay Area got hit particularly hard, and Luz Pena spoke to San Francisco residents and a climate change expert on what these events could look like in the coming years.
After a storm coupled with record king tides swept the Bay Area, residents are now processing the reality that this can happen again.
As far as we know, it's the biggest tide and storm at the same time that we've had in about 30 years here.
Over the weekend, this neighborhood in Larkspur flooded. Water entered garages as residents came out in kayaks and paddleboards.
We had to, kind of swim in and out.
With a break in the rain, garages were open, airing out the damage.
This has been happening for generations as well, so I think it's just some of the ongoing things we deal with Mother Nature.
This video from the UC Santa Cruz Center for Coastal Climate Resilience shows a visualization of San Mateo County, an area that faces significant sea level rise impacts. This is what they're projecting during a 100-year storm. Professor Mike Beck, director of this center, is watching what's happening closely.
King tides give us a good picture into what future sea levels can look like and the problems that creates. In the current events, you can see that those problems, particularly this time of year, are going to be quite commonly coupled with rainwater and strong winds. So the strong winds are going to be pushing those tidal waters even higher up on us.
With rising sea levels due to climate change, Professor Beck said king tides are to be expected.
Usually talking 2, 3, sometimes depending upon what we're looking at, the average 4 feet of water additional with the high tide.
In San Francisco, king tides led to flooding on Embarcadero. The Port of San Francisco said they're prepared.
In terms of the long-term plan, the Port of San Francisco, along with many other city agencies, is working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on a resilience plan along the waterfront. And what that is going to do is help the city's waterfront adapt to sea level rise.
That is an issue we will continue to monitor, and they are certainly taking these threats very seriously out in San Francisco. Down to L.A., we're going to talk about this area because this week also marks 1 year since those wildfires tore across Southern California, forever changing the landscape of L.A. County. The Palisades and Eaton fires sparked on the same day, scorching more than 37,000 acres and destroying more than 16,000 buildings. 31 people died. Now, 1 year later, residents are voicing frustration with the emergency response and recovery process. Thousands of protesters gathered near the burn site in Los Angeles yesterday. Rachel Kim spoke with people in the crowd.
It was the realization that all of this was preventable.
A peaceful gathering with a powerful message.
We need our voices heard by people who might be able to help us.
Many of the people gathered here at Palisades Village lost their home to the Palisades fire 1 year ago. Now they're demanding accountability and transparency from local government officials when it comes to their response and readiness last January.
But they didn't send anybody to us. They had fire trucks down on the beach. They had people from Orange County waiting in hotels, and they wouldn't send them up. They didn't help us.
Jim Kanan lost his home that's been in his family for over 60 years. His mother's home next door and his great aunt's house nearby gone too. He believes the city of LA failed him and others who lost so much.
We have nothing. I have pictures of my kids that I'll never have again. I have notes from my dad who passed away 20 years ago that I'll never have again.
Local leaders, let us burn.
One of the organizers of this demonstration, called They Let Us Burn, tells us they want leaders on every level to listen to their demands.
The easiest thing that the city could give us is to waive our permit fees. Homeowners here are paying mortgages, they're paying rents for wherever they're living now, they're paying property taxes. It's unfathomable.
Engel says they want reform in wildfire preparedness and emergency response, as well as insurance recovery.
We've paid our premiums month after month for years, and now when it's time for them to pay up because of this disaster, they're not.
To try to rebuild in the Palisades, we live in a 1,300 square foot house. You can't build a 1,300 square foot. It's not feasibly or financeable. It's not financially feasible.
Kanan says it's been very difficult for his family to return to the Palisades to see the devastation and loss.
I grew up here, and it's seeing people that I grew up with just kind of for the first time in a year. It just kind of sucks.
Rally organizers want to see state and federal funds to help them rebuild because many families are still displaced and businesses are still struggling.
I can't even describe how bad it is.
A very difficult recovery there, and that is going to be ongoing as well. Earlier in the week, we told you Florida has been dethroned as the lightning capital of the United States. Meteorologist Taylor Stephenson is here to tell us which state is now in the top spot and why.
For years, Florida has been known as the lightning capital of the U.S., but new data bumps Florida off of the top spot in lightning strike density. The data comes from the 2025 lightning report by Advanced Environmental Monitoring, a group that analyzes lightning statistics. Weather monitors found that the new lightning capital, Oklahoma, had about 73 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes per square mile last year. Kay County, Oklahoma specifically, was the most lightning-dense county in the country, with about 123 flashes per square mile. The states behind Oklahoma in lightning density are Florida, Louisiana, and Kansas. Even though Oklahoma is now #1 in lightning strike density, Florida still recorded the most lightning-related deaths in 2025. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson.
All right, so we were talking about the U.S. lightning hotspots, literally, right? But I want to talk to you about where the most frequent lightning occurs around the world. Do you know? It's in Venezuela, all right? Lake Maracaibo, and there is a phenomena which is referred to as Catatumbo lightning. And this is at that river, the Catatumbo River at the delta there, there's some cool air that mixes with warm air coming in from the Caribbean, and it generates lightning. So NASA did a study, and we heard that, we were talking about Oklahoma averaging 73 strikes per square mile per year. This one part of Venezuela sees over 600 strikes in a square mile per year. It's incredible. The lightning is so frequent. About 300 nights each year, there are thunderstorms, and the lightning is incredible how frequent it is and vivid. You see it lighting up the sky. It has been used as a natural lighthouse for mariners there coming into the northern parts of Venezuela because that lightning lights up the sky and can be seen for a long, long distance, hundreds of miles. So you could have this lightning basically providing almost like a lighthouse for mariners there coming into northern Venezuela and around that lake. Unbelievable, and obviously quite dangerous as well. Unfortunately, as I was doing that research, I was finding out there were quite a few fatalities with that frequent lightning as well, as you might imagine. But that is the lightning capital of the world. Incredible. Over 600 strikes per year per square mile. All right, let's talk about what else is going on with NASA. And we talked about, there's been a scheduled spacewalk, and there's been a little bit of a delay with that. NASA had to postpone the spacewalk due to a medical concern with a crew member. That spacewalk should have started about an hour ago, and we actually had planned to bring you some of that live here on the weather desk, but they're going to have to postpone that. Astronauts Mike Finke and Zena Cardman were set to exit the International Space Station airlock to finish work on a power channel. NASA has not yet rescheduled the spacewalk, but another pre-planned spacewalk is set to happen about a week from today. So we'll continue to watch that and let you know how that goes. And if it does get postponed and we're able to bring it to you, check back with us here on the weather desk in a week, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you live pictures of that. All right, another reminder for you stargazers out there, you want to keep an eye to the sky this weekend because Jupiter will be at its biggest and brightest all year. According to NASA, on January 10th, Jupiter will be at what's known as opposition, meaning that Earth will be directly between Jupiter and the sun, and in this alignment, Jupiter will reflect all that sunlight. It's going to appear bigger and brighter in the night sky than it will at any other point this year. So to try to catch a glimpse of the planet, you're going to want to look to the east all during the evening hours. Check it out. All right, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on after a short break. Want to let you know we will come back. Couple of stories that we're going to talk to related to wintry weather. There's some heavy snow over parts of France. We'll talk about that. This Chinese Winterfest, some beautiful snow and ice sculpting going on. And then we're going to return to the central U.S. and talk about the severe weather threats over the coming days. We mentioned those tornado warnings in Oklahoma. We'll have more on that. And then the severe weather outlook. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. Thanks for joining us. We've got a big storm system here in the central U.S. We're going to come back to that in a moment, but I wanted to update you on some snow for parts of Europe, and specifically folks in Paris. They woke up to snow blanketing the city. Check out this video. This is a look at conditions outside the Louvre. Now, the snow forced 6 airports to close down. You can see the folks here at the Louvre checking it out, and it's not too problematic there. They're getting around okay. But again, that snow did force airports to close, causing airlines to cancel hundreds of flights. And sadly, the ice created dangerous conditions on the roads. We have heard at least 2 people died in car crashes near Paris, while 3 more were killed in the southwestern part of the country. All right, we're going to turn from France back over to China, and specifically an area here pretty far inland in China here. We'll head to Harbin, China. You see that location right here in the kind of eastern central portion of China. And this is where artists are taking advantage of the snow to create works of art. Now, you want to see this. For the past few days, snow sculptors from around the world have been chipping away at blocks of snow and ice to create their pieces. It's part of the Harbin International Ice and Snow Festival in the northeast part of China, as I mentioned. The festival kicked off Monday with 25 teams participating. Designs range from the Taj Mahal in India to an octopus.
We choose to make an octopus because of the really organic shapes, so we can play in the snow with the organic shapes with the tentacles intertwine, and that makes a really dynamic form. So we try to get the flow from the tentacles around the block. It's my first time in Harbin, it's my first time in China, it's my first time in Asia, so I'm really glad to be here. It's a beautiful place here. The sun, snow, I'm really happy.
Of course, we have our sand sculpting here in Virginia Beach, and that's wonderful. But check out those works of art with the snow. So beautiful. Looks like they've got some pretty nice weather for the snow sculpting. That ends today, the snow sculpting does, but the festival holds additional activities all the way into February. So that's something kind of interesting going on over in China. Want to bring our attention back here to the U.S., and now we're going to talk about not only the severe weather that's going on across the central part of the country, but we'll talk about the severe weather outlook as well. So here's Oklahoma. Let's take this full again, and we're going to zoom in so I can show you what's happening with the tornado warnings. This has largely been just off to the south of Oklahoma City and southeast of Oklahoma City. Now that line has moved east, and you can see most of the tornado warnings pared down, but it is approaching the Tulsa area. The line is, and there are numerous thunderstorm warnings as well. So at the start of the show, we had pretty large areas, 3 different tornado warnings. Let's get you updated on what's going on with this right here. And again, this tornado warning for Prague, and I say Prague, it might be Prague out there. Anyway, 2,000 people, very sparsely populated area, and we're going to continue to watch this as it's moving along. Of course, Tulsa, a much more densely populated area, and out to the west of Tulsa, there's a severe thunderstorm warning, and that has about 61,000 people under that warning, and down to the south as well, more thunderstorm warnings. But this line has had a history of producing tornadoes, so we'll keep an eye to all of that as that system moves along. I'll show you where it's headed. As we take a look, and you can see the severe weather outlook today, this level 2 threat here. We've already seen the storms, at least one confirmed tornado down on the ground with that line. The line has weakened a little bit, but still severe weather for that area. Primary threats will include not only wind and hail, but also tornadoes. And there's that kind of second level of tornadic threat there for that same area. The level 1 threat extends all the way out across southern Missouri, the St. Louis area there in the eastern part of the Show Me State, and down through southern Illinois, Memphis, also included in that, Little Rock, some of the areas down to the south. All right, I just heard from my producer the amount of time left. I'm going to ask her if she can give our digital team a heads up that we're going to run a little bit longer today. We got started a few minutes late. We were getting a couple technical things squared away, and I do want to continue with what's going on with this outlook. So you see this, again, the tornado potential, that's for today. We've got thunderstorm warnings out, and it looks like a new tornado watch that has been posted there in the northeast part of Oklahoma and the extreme southwestern part of Missouri into the northwest part of Arkansas. That is a new area that we're watching as this line continues to move along. All right, let's talk about the wind potential, and you can see strong winds also up through this area. That's all the way up through Joplin, Missouri, and as you take a look, there's large hail potentially with some of these storms as well. As we look forward to Friday, the severe weather threat shifts east and southeast, so you see this area, Louisiana, Mississippi into Alabama, there is this level 2 threat, meaning scattered severe storms are going to be expected. And there's a level 1 threat. You could even see some isolated severe storms down to Houston. New Orleans kind of on the cusp of it. Atlanta also on the cusp, but Memphis has a pretty good shot, as well as central Kentucky and most of Tennessee, and then southern and western portions of Kentucky there. As far as the tornado potential goes, it's that level 2 threat again. I suspect we will get a few tornado reports from Alabama into Mississippi and Louisiana as we go ahead. Some of the cities specifically, you can see Birmingham obviously right there in the heart of it, all the way up to Huntsville, back down through Columbus. You see Tupelo there, kind of on the cusp of it, level 1 to level 2. Meridian back through Jackson, Mississippi, and then into Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Alexandria, even New Orleans, right on the line here between the level 2 and the level 1 elevated threat for tornadoes. So we'll be watching that. That's tomorrow. Wind is also going to be a big issue. They typically are with these thunderstorms, and there is some potential for hail as well, especially Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and even into eastern portions of Texas. So plenty to watch with that. We will keep you updated. The severe weather threat shifts a little farther to the east for Saturday. You'll notice portions of Virginia and western North Carolina under this level 1 threat. It's a couple days out. They don't break down the specific threats as far as from the Storm Prediction Center. You can bank on wind and hail, but I would say there will be a tornadic threat even down to the south here. I think it'll be farther to the south again, but these areas down here should be very mindful. There could be some rough weather into Saturday as well. Now, the storm system is producing all that, is tracking to the northeast. You can see by 4 o'clock this afternoon, the low will be centered up here over northern Missouri, frontal boundary extending down to the south. But this is going to bring that potential for storms into southern Missouri, even eastern Missouri, as we go through the afternoon. You reach the peak heating of the day, and then this continues to slide off to the northeast. So some more storminess there, some snow on the backside of the system, and there's that look into early Friday, how that severe weather threat's going to be lining up in this area here. Another area of low pressure rides along that frontal boundary, and this is going to give us, again, a shot for some unsettled weather here in Hampton Roads Saturday into early Sunday. Eventually it pulls out. We see high pressure building in, and it will be much cooler to start next week around Hampton Roads. All right, here's the updated drought monitor. Yesterday, before the new one came in early this morning, we just had the area in yellow indicating abnormally dry conditions. Now we have moderate drought back into parts of our 13 News Now viewing area. This includes Isle of Wight, southern parts of Southampton County there, or the Franklin area, down into Hertford County, North Carolina, Bertie County, areas Northampton, North Carolina. These areas all under moderate drought. Now we also have moderate drought back in place for the eastern shore and the northern neck, as well as the middle peninsula. So parts of the area now, the 13 News Now viewing area, we serve southeastern Virginia and northeast North Carolina, now parts of our immediate viewing area under moderate drought, and that just updated within the hour, so that's new. Out to the west, this is also a change. You can see Farmville, Lynchburg, South Boston, the western parts of the Commonwealth under severe drought at this point. Previously, it was the D.C. area and areas west. This was just moderate drought. But again, it's been a dry week, dry start to 2026. So now those areas are under the severe drought. So we'll continue to watch that. And we'll have a look at the entire country coming up a little bit later on in the week. Maybe tomorrow, I guess we'll get to that and show you the drought monitor across the country if you can join us. We'll take a look very quickly at our rain chances. We're dry today and for most of the day tomorrow. But by tomorrow evening, there is a chance for a few showers. I expect a better chance at some showers developing Saturday morning, just kind of passing by, and then more shower chances Saturday afternoon into Sunday. Temperatures today and tomorrow. Well, today it's cool. We're going to see temperatures right around the low to mid 50s, but tomorrow we're going to see a jump in temperatures back up to 71, 72 for Saturday. So warmer to finish out tomorrow, and then Saturday before that front comes through. With the front passing through, it knocks us back to 60 on Sunday, and then the really cold air settles in for next next week. That's that look ahead. Temperatures currently are in the mid-40s around Wakefield and Emporia. You can see upper 40s, Newport News, Hampton, and Norfolk. 51 in Virginia Beach, 50 in Chesapeake. The sun is shining. The skies are clear right now. We are enjoying a lot of sunshine. We'll see a few more clouds late in the day. East winds at 6 miles per hour. On the water, northeast winds 5 to 10. Not bad out there. It is a cooler day today, especially at the beaches, with the winds coming in from the northeast. Now, as we take a look, frontal boundary down to the south, high pressure in control right now, but we do have that storm system, as I showed you, that is going to bring that rain chance to us coming up later as we get into the weekend, maybe late tomorrow and then tomorrow night. Taking a look at the futurecast, dry today, temperatures cool as we go through the day tomorrow. It gets much warmer. We're going to see temperatures back up, upper 60s to low 70s. Here come the rain chances by Friday around 6 o'clock. I think we'll see some rain up around Richmond, maybe towards Petersburg. As we take a look out there, the northern parts of the area also could see some more showery weather. I do expect now with this updated futurecast, you can see more of that rain working down the peninsula Friday evening and overnight into early Saturday. A chance for those showers. We'll see more shower chances coming up late Saturday into Sunday. So our temperatures today ranging from the low 50s right at the beaches and at the airport. It's going to be a little bit cooler there, but the inland areas upper 50s to near 60. Our normal high this time of year is 51, so we're closer to average, still a little bit above it, but closer to average. Mid to upper 50s for the peninsula, eastern shore a little cooler, mid 50s around Gloucester and for North Carolina, low 60s for Edenton and Hertford, temperatures in the 50s as you head through Elizabeth City and back over to the Outer Banks. Lows tonight near 47. Tomorrow we're back up to 71. Enjoy the warmer weather as we get into the weekend. That chance for rain late Friday and isolated Saturday. Some scattered showers early Sunday. Have a good one. We'll see you next time from the Weather Desk.